Attention passionate Seattle Seahawks fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news now, fans. Buckle up because what I'm about to tell you is truly seismic in the NFL landscape, especially for the Seahawks. There's a buzz, a real shockwave going through the league, and it involves a trade that could reshape the NFC West and perhaps beyond. We're talking about a blockbuster deal that has the potential to not only elevate the Seahawks' defense, but also shake up the entire division hierarchy. And no, I'm not talking about just any player. I'm talking about Nick Bosa, the dominant edge rusher from the San Francisco 49ers, being traded to the Seahawks. Yes, you heard that right. The rumors are swirling, and sources indicate that a trade is very close, and it's not just a minor move, it's a game changer. Now let's set the stage here. The 49ers, a team that has been a powerhouse in recent years, has hit a bit of a rough patch this season. Their record stands at 3-4, and it's clear that they're in a rebuild mode, whether they want to admit it or not. The team is struggling to keep up with some of the best offenses in the league, and their defensive numbers tell a story of vulnerability. They're giving up a staggering 27 points per game, which is unusual for a team that's been known for its stout defense. The defense, which once was an impenetrable fortress, is leaking points left and right. In fact, they're allowing an average of 31 sacks on the offensive line, which is a huge red flag, especially considering the importance of protecting their quarterback and establishing a balanced attack. San Francisco, as we know, is in a bit of a cap crunch, with about $14 million in cap space and a roster that needs some serious upgrades, particularly on the offensive line. They're also facing the reality that they need to build a more resilient secondary, especially after some recent struggles with their young quarterbacks and the performance of players like Purdy, who's seen his rating dip to 79. 3 in recent games. The team is clearly looking to rebuild and reload, and that's where Bosa comes into the picture. Now, why would the 49ers trade Bosa, one of the most feared pass rushers in the league? Well, the answer is complex, but makes a lot of sense from their perspective. Bosa's contract, which is worth around $28 million per year, is a significant cap hit. This is tough to sustain when you're trying to rebuild, especially if you need to allocate resources to extend key players like George Kittle, who's costing the team $18 million next season. The 49ers are at a crossroads. Do they continue to pay premium prices for their star players, or do they start to shed some of that talent to get draft picks and rebuild the roster more sustainably? It looks like they're leaning toward the latter, and a trade involving Bosa, a player who has dominated with elite speed, power, and relentless pursuit, would give them a much-needed shakeup. From the Seahawks' perspective, this is a golden opportunity. Imagine adding a player like Bosa to a defense that already has some promising pieces like Mafe, who had 5 sacks in 2025. Bosa's presence would not just be a boost, it would be a seismic shift. For years now, the Seahawks have been building a solid defense, but they've lacked that ultimate game wrecker on the edge. Bosa, who's been named an All-Pro multiple times from 2019 through 2024, would fill that void effortlessly. He's a player known for his elite speed, ability to pressure the quarterback, and his consistency. In 2025, he's already recorded 35 pressures and 6 sacks in just 7 games, boasting a PFF grade of 89.2. That's elite, folks. And his impact isn't just about stats. It's about presence, about forcing offenses to double-team him, which opens up opportunities for others. Let's talk about what Bosa could bring to the Seahawks specifically. Right now, Seattle's edge rushers are doing a decent job, but lack that consistent, game-changing factor. With Bosa on the field, teams would have to commit extra resources to blocking him, which would create chaos in the backfield. His ability to generate pressures and sacks, especially in blitz packages, could see pressures increase by 45, and sacks could jump by approximately 2-3 per game. That's huge. And with players like Mafe, who already has 5 sacks this season, Bosa's addition would elevate the pass rush to a top-tier level. This kind of upgrade could be the difference maker in close games, especially in the playoffs, where every sack, strip sack, and pressure counts. But it's not just about the pass rush. Bosa's presence would also dramatically improve Seattle's run defense. Currently, the Seahawks are allowing around 3.8 yards per carry, which is decent but can be much better with a disruptive force like Bosa in the middle of their front. His ability to set the edge, combined with his relentless pursuit, could lead to a 16% increase in EPA per rush, making opposing offenses think twice before running the ball. Plus, his ability to create turnovers with 15 forced fumbles in his career adds another layer of threat to this defense. Imagine the Seahawks forcing 12 or more turnovers this season, flipping field position, and giving Geno Smith and the offense more scoring opportunities. That's a recipe for playoff success. Now, the impact on the division is equally important. The NFC West has traditionally been a tough, competitive division, but with this move, the Seahawks could catapult themselves ahead of rivals like the 49ers and Rams. The 49ers, after losing Bosa, might struggle to maintain their dominance, especially when their defense is already leaking points and their offense is inconsistent. The Rams, while still dangerous, would have a harder time matching the Seahawks' newfound firepower. The division race could turn into a two-horse race between Seattle and San Francisco, with the Seahawks gaining a significant edge. And let's not forget, Bosa's addition would also boost Seattle's Super Bowl odds. Currently, the Seahawks are at plus 4,500, but with Bosa, those odds could shrink to plus 2,000, making them serious contenders. His experience in high-pressure situations, especially in playoff environments, would be invaluable for a team looking to make a real deep postseason run. And speaking of big playoff moments, Bosa's track record of strip sacks and clutch plays makes him a perfect X-factor in postseason battles. His ability to generate turnovers in key moments could be the difference between an early exit and a Super Bowl appearance. Historically, players like Judon, who was traded to the Patriots in 2023, had a similar impact on their team's odds, and that's exactly what Seattle is aiming for. A player of Bosa's caliber can elevate the entire team, making them not just a playoff team, but a true contender capable of challenging the best in the league. Now, I know some fans might be wondering about the cost. The Seahawks would have to part with some draft capital, but the potential payoff outweighs the risk. With about $21 million in cap space freed up, Seattle can absorb Bosa's contract and still have room to maneuver for other key signings or extensions. This is a bold move, yes, but it's also a strategic one. It signals that Seattle is serious about competing now and building a dynasty. Bringing Bosa into the fold could be the catalyst that sparks a new era, reminiscent of the legendary Legion of Boom days in the 80s, but with a modern twist. This move would position the Seahawks as a top-tier defensive unit, capable of dominating the NFC and making a serious run at the Super Bowl in 2026 and beyond. In conclusion, folks, this trade could be the pivot point for the Seahawks' future. It's about more than just adding a talented player. It's about transforming the identity of the team, creating a defense that strikes fear into opponents, and giving themselves the best shot at a deep playoff run. Imagine a Seattle defense with Bosa, Mafe, and a revamped secondary, all working together to suffocate offenses and lead the way to a Super Bowl. The potential is enormous, and if this deal goes through, it could be remembered as one of the most impactful trades in Seahawks history. It's a bold, visionary move that aligns perfectly with Seattle's quest for glory, and I, for one, can't wait to see how it unfolds. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Seattle Seahawks news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think acquiring Nick Bosa would push the team over the edge? Can he be the game changer that finally brings a Super Bowl victory back to Seattle? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion really matters, not just to us, but to the entire Seahawks community. Remember, this is a team that's been building for years, and with a move like this, the future could be brighter than ever. I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for all the latest Seahawks news, analysis, and insider info. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Seahawks.